You don't need all of this. You don't need a $2,000 home gym to get insanely strong. You only need about $200 and 2 square meters of space. I built over 20 kilograms of muscle with this setup, and hundreds of guys in my community are doing the same thing right now. And I don't mean all of this, because I didn't have this until a few months ago. Here's what I noticed many people do wrong when they start training at home. They buy some weird machines that take up loads of space, cost too much, and most of the time they don't even work. There are only 3 pieces of home equipment that actually matter, plus some optional upgrades that make progress a little bit faster. So let me show you exactly what to get and what to skip. Let's start with the essentials, the 3 pieces of equipment that bring the most bang for the buck. First, gymnastic rings. These go for about $30. I bought them, I think 7 years ago, and these are still the same old gymnastic rings and they still work, and I paid $29.99. Just 2 wooden rings on adjustable straps. These are black just because I taped them around. I just posted a video today about the tape. You can hang them from a ceiling beam, a pull-up bar, or a tree branch. Basically anywhere you can throw a strap over. Personally, I regret not buying this earlier. When I finally got my first pair, I instantly fell in love with them. This was, the love at the first sight. And here's why. You can do ring push-ups for your chest, shoulders, and triceps. Inverted rows for your back and biceps. Ring dips for your chest, shoulders, and triceps. Ring pull-ups for your back, biceps, and your grip. And ring support holds for shoulder stability and core. Basically, this one piece of equipment replaces an entire upper body gym setup. And because the rings are unstable, you actually activate more muscle than fixed bars, which means faster muscle growth. The setup can take up to 2 minutes because you need to make them even, but taking them down takes 30 seconds, and you can adjust the height instantly for different exercises. When you are not using them, you can always hide them in the closet so they don't take up space, and they are also super portable. I've taken mine to parks, trips, basically everywhere. The movement is joint friendly because the rings rotate naturally with your body, so this means less injury risk. And they work for complete beginners all the way to advanced athletes. If you're a beginner, you start with your feet on the ground for support. As you get stronger, over time, you elevate your rings higher or adjust the angle. Eventually, you're doing full bodyweight movements. The only downside is that you might need to drill into the ceiling if you want a permanent setup at home. But honestly, that can be a good thing. Permanent setup means less friction to train. You walk past your rings every single day and you have no excuses not to use them. That makes life so much simpler and fitness so much easier to stick to. I can't wait to be able to have a setup like this. Until then, I hang them from my pull-up bar. This can last you a decade for the price of 1 month gym membership. Next, a pull-up bar. This is for vertical pulling movements. Pull-ups, chin-ups, hanging leg raises, toes to bar. You can also hang your rings from it for even more exercise options. Pull-ups are the king of back exercises for building strength and muscle mass. They develop that V-taper physique, wide back, narrow waist. They also build grip strength, which carries over to everything else you do in life. Now, there are 3 types of pull-up bars, and which one you get depends on your situation. So I'll quickly break down which one fits your life. First, wall-mounted pull-up bar, $50 to $100. This is the best option if you own your home, or if your landlord allows drilling. So why is it the best? It's the most stable, durable, and doesn't take any floor space. Like, look at this pull-up bar. Okay, this is not just a pull-up bar, but this takes shitloads of space, right? If I had a pull-up bar on my wall, it doesn't take any space. You just need to drill it into the wall. That's it. Next, we have a freestanding pull-up bar. I've seen these for about $100 to $150. This one is even less. This is a good alternative if you rent and can't drill holes in the walls. But the drawback is that it's often unstable. Just look at this. I've been using this exact pull-up bar for over 2 years. It's insanely unstable, but well, it's better than nothing and still better than a door frame pull-up bar. I personally always wanted a wall-mounted pull-up bar with rings hanging from the ceiling. That would be my perfect setup. But I can't drill here, so as long as I live in this house, it's a no-go. So I got myself this bad boy. It's huge and expensive, but the stability alone makes it worth it. At least for me. Now, if none of that is an option for you, there is always a Dolphin pull-up bar. These go for about 20 to 40 bucks, I think. But this is the last resort. It's cheap and it doesn't need really any installation. But the grip width is narrow, which limits your back development. And the biggest drawback is that you can't do straight body movements. You cannot straighten your body. You always have to do pull-ups with your knees bent behind. And it's not really suitable for weighted pull-ups. So if you can, go wall-mounted. If not, the freestanding is the way. The Dolphin pull-up bar is like an entry-level job. It's enough to start with and better than nothing, but you won't get far with that. Last essential piece, resistance bands. These go for about 20 bucks. You get a set with different resistance levels. Light, medium, and heavy. I've used bands pretty much since day one. This one I have for many years. And they grow with you. At first, they helped me with exercises I couldn't do yet, like band-assisted pull-ups or dips. You loop the band over the bar, put your foot in it, and it reduces your body weight. So if you can't do pull-ups yet, bands will help you bridge that gap faster. Then, as I get stronger, I started using them to make exercises harder, like band-resisted push-ups or squats, which I still sometimes do to this day. You basically add resistance to bodyweight exercises when regular reps become too easy. You can also do isolation work, band pull-aparts for shoulders, band curls for biceps, band face pulls for rear delts. All the stuff you'd normally see people do with dumbbells in the gym. Another thing about the bands is that they're extremely portable. They literally fit in your pocket. And if treated well, quality bands last for years. They're also perfect for warm-ups, mobility work, and deload weeks. So those are the three essentials: rings, pull-up bar, and bands. With these, you can train your entire body for 100 to 200 bucks total. It depends where you buy the equipment from, but if you buy these three pieces of equipment, you're probably not gonna spend more than 200 bucks. Pretty good. Now let's talk about some optional upgrades. These aren't essential, but they are still useful, and one of them cost 15 bucks and made a huge difference for me. So you can absolutely get jacked with just the three essentials. But these upgrades make your life easier and progress faster. Before I get into them, you need to understand something. There are basically two ways to progress with calisthenics. First, you change the exercise variation. So you go from regular pull-ups to archer pull-ups to one-arm pull-ups. You're making the movement harder by changing the leverage. Second, you just add weight. So you do regular pull-ups, then pull-ups with 5 kilograms, then 10 kilograms, then 15 kilograms. Both options are great, but the second option is way simpler. It's less technical and easier to track. Some people prefer defensive variations. That was me in the past. But others prefer to stick to the basics and just add weight. Either way works amazingly. It's just a matter of preference. But if you want to add weight, you'll need something to add it with. That's what this section is mostly about. First, liquid chalk. That's about 15 euros. I've tried the regular powder chalk a few years back, and I was impressed how much it helps with basically every single exercise. Even pushing moves on the parallels, but especially with the pulling movements. So I bought it right away. Then, after about a year, I found out the liquid chalk exists. It's so much better than regular chalk, because here's the thing. Your grip is often a limiting factor in your pull-ups and your rows. Your back and biceps can do more. They're not wasted yet, but your hands give out first. The liquid chalk fixes that, but without all the mess that powder chalk makes. And it's also stronger than regular chalk. 15 bucks for months or even a year of better workouts, that's a pretty good deal in my opinion. Now for adding weight to your exercises, we have three options: a backpack, a deep belt, or a weight vest. And honestly, you don't need all three of them. Here's how I think about it. First, the backpack. If you already have one, it's completely free. If for some reason you don't have a backpack yet, a decent one costs like 30 bucks. The best thing about the backpack is how expandable it is. You can put literally anything in there. Books, water bottles, weight plates, sandbags, chains, anything. Even your chalk. I use my backpack for lower body exercises, push-ups and rows. It works great for all of those. Then we have the deep belt. About 50 bucks for the best quality. This is the best one I ever had, and this one was, I think, 50 euros. I use the belt mostly for pull-ups and dips. That's what it's made for. It's more comfortable for heavy loads than the backpack, and it's easier to set up if you have weight plates. Just clip the plate on and go. But the belt has a limitation. It can be hard to use for weighted push-ups and rows because the weight hangs below you. So you need to have a high enough setup for the place to hang freely. I can do weighted push-ups on my dip bars or rings because they are high enough. And I have this window behind me to put my feet on. But if you don't have this kind of setup, the belt won't work for your push-ups. Then the backpack is your best options for those. Some people ask about the weight vest. As you can see, I have one, but I don't really use it. Just very, very rarely, only because I have it. But I wouldn't buy it again. A backpack does everything a vest does, but for less money and with more room to grow, because 10 kilogram vest stays a 10 kilogram vest. Currently, I load 30 kilograms in my backpack, which would be impossible to do with my vest. So here's what I recommend. Start with a backpack. It's free or cheap, and it works for everything. If you get serious about pull-ups and dips, think about adding a belt. But I wouldn't even think about this until you reach some really serious weighted pull-up numbers. The backpack is still comfortable with about 20 kilograms, but above that number, the weight inside the backpack changes your body position too much, and it just makes it uncomfortable and it feels like less effective. So if you're above that number, get yourself a belt. Those two together cover pretty much everything. You don't need to buy everything at once. So start with rings, a pull-up bar, the bands, and add the rest if you feel you need it and you want it. Now, having good equipment only matters if you know how to use it, because there are thousands of exercises, but 80% of results come from just a few, done consistently. This is the core principle we train with in our community, the Warrior Society. So if you want the minimalist system we use to build strength with these pieces of equipment, is all in there. There is a link in the description, and I'll meet you inside.